Children have always been our connection to the unseen world. They speak to people who are not there. They wave at empty corners. They describe friends that no adult can see. We dismiss these behaviors as imagination, as the creative play of developing minds. The footage we are about to examine challenges everything we think we know about the boundary between the living and the dead, between the seen and the unseen. Before we dive into these cases, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This channel is dedicated to exploring the darkest corners of the internet, the most disturbing footage ever recorded, and the mysteries that science cannot explain. If you're ready to unlock files that most people are afraid to open, you are in the right place. Now let us begin. Our first case centers on a TikTok user known as Leo Lords 15, a mother who was excited about a fresh start. She and her young daughter had just moved into a new home, leaving behind whatever life they had known before. A new house meant new possibilities, new memories, new beginnings. The future seemed bright, but almost immediately after they moved in, something changed in her daughter. The young girl began to behave strangely. She would sit in her room for hours, talking and laughing as if someone else was there with her. When her mother asked who she was speaking to, the girl gave an answer that sent chills down the woman's spine. She had made a new friend, a friend that lived inside their new house. Children often create imaginary friends. Developmental psychologists consider it a normal part of childhood, a way for young minds to practice social skills and explore their emotions. But there was something about the way this little girl described her friend that felt different, something that made the mother deeply uneasy. So she set up a security camera in her daughter's room. She needed to see what was happening when she was not there. She needed to understand who or what her daughter was communicating with. What the camera captured is absolutely terrifying. The footage shows the young girl sitting in her room, speaking to someone invisible. Her words are casual, the way a child speaks to a playmate. Do you want to play? Do you want to sleep? She is comfortable, relaxed, engaged in what appears to be a normal conversation with a normal friend. And then the closet door begins to move. Two distinct footsteps can be heard on the audio, not from the girl, from somewhere else in the room. The closet door slowly swings open, moving with a deliberate, purposeful motion that cannot be explained by drafts or settling foundations. As the door opens, 3 more footsteps are audible, clear and distinct, as if something is walking out of the closet and into the room. The girl's demeanor changes instantly. The playful child who'd been chatting with her invisible friend is suddenly terrified. She gets to her feet slowly, carefully, her eyes fixed on something the camera cannot capture. She begins to sneak toward the bedroom door, moving with the cautious steps of a prey animal, trying not to attract the attention of a predator. Whatever just came out of that closet, she does not want to be anywhere near it. The footage ends there, but the story does not. What makes this case even more disturbing is what happened afterward. In 2022, this family completely disappeared from TikTok. Their account went silent. No updates, no explanations, no final video announcing they were leaving the platform. They simply vanished. What happened to Leo Lords 15 and her daughter remains a mystery. Did they move out of the house? Did they flee in the middle of the night, unable to bear another moment with whatever was living in that closet? Or did something far worse happened, something that prevented them from ever posting again? We may never know. But the footage remains. A haunting record of a child who made friends with something that should not exist. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, a woman named Mrs. Tennyson works as an overnight caregiver for the elderly. It is a demanding job, requiring her to stay awake through the long hours of the night while her clients sleep. She monitors their breathing, checks their medications, and ensures their safety during the vulnerable hours when most of the world is unconscious. One of her clients, an elderly woman, had been exhibiting unusual behavior. At night, while deeply asleep, she would have full conversations with someone. Not the mumbled fragments of dreams, but coherent dialogue, as if she was speaking to a person sitting right beside her bed. Mrs. Tennyson found this deeply unsettling, but she attributed it to the confusion that sometimes accompanies old age. Then she started hearing strange noises coming from the woman's bedroom. Mrs. Tennyson began keeping a close eye on the bedroom security camera. Late at night, while her client slept and the house was silent, she watched the feed on her phone. And one night she saw something that made her question everything she thought she knew about the world. Something was moving under the bed. The footage is grainy, the low light conditions pushing the camera to its limits. But the movement is unmistakable. A shape can be seen on the floor beside the bed, shifting back and forth. It emerges partially, then retreats. It moves with a rhythm that suggests intention, as if it is checking on the sleeping woman, monitoring her the way Mrs. Tennyson monitors her. The elderly woman does not move. She remains asleep, completely unaware of whatever is lurking inches below her mattress. She has no dogs. She has no cats. There is no animal in the house that could explain what the camera captured. Mrs. Tennyson posted the footage to TikTok, and viewers immediately began offering theories. Some suggested it was a deceased pet, returning to check on its former owner. Others proposed that it was the spirit of a loved one, watching over the woman in her final years. Mrs. Tennyson confirmed that the woman's husband had passed away some time ago. Could this be him? Could the thing under the bed be the ghost of a man who loved his wife so much that he could not leave her, even in death? Is he protecting her? Or is he waiting for her to join him on the other side? The footage does not provide answers. It only provides questions. And Mrs. Tennyson continues to work the night shift, watching the camera feed, wondering what else might be moving in the darkness while her clients sleep. Thermal imaging cameras are scientific instruments. They detect heat signatures, translating temperature differences into visual data that the human eye can interpret. They are used by firefighters to find people trapped in burning buildings, by hunters to track animals in the dark, by home inspectors to identify insulation problems. They are tools of logic, of reason, of objective measurement. But sometimes they reveal things that science cannot explain. This next video was shared to the internet without a clear source, which makes verification difficult. But the footage itself is compelling enough to warrant examination. A man is conducting a paranormal investigation of allegedly cursed objects in a reportedly haunted house. He is using a thermal imaging camera to scan the rooms, looking for temperature fluctuations that might indicate supernatural activity. What he finds instead is far more disturbing. As he pans the camera across the room, the thermal display shows the normal heat signatures of furniture, walls, and floors. Blues and greens indicate cooler surfaces, while yellows and oranges mark warmer areas. Everything appears normal. And then he points the camera at a cupboard. A face appears on the thermal display. It is small, childlike, peeking out from behind the cupboard doors. The heat signature is distinct, showing a clear head shape with features that are unmistakably human. The face seems to be watching him, observing him from its hiding place. The man's reaction is immediate and visceral. "What the hell? What is that?" His voice is thick with fear, the kind of fear that cannot be faked. He looks up from the camera to see the cupboard with his naked eyes. There is nothing there. The cupboard is closed. There is no space behind it for anyone to hide. The face that appeared on the thermal camera does not exist in the visible spectrum. It can only be seen through the lens of the thermal imaging device, as if it exists on a different wavelength of reality. Is this evidence of a genuine paranormal presence? Has the thermal camera captured the heat signature of a ghost, a spirit, an entity that has learned to hide itself from human vision but cannot hide its thermal footprint? Or is this an elaborate hoax, a clever manipulation of technology designed to fool viewers into believing the impossible? The man in the video never found an explanation. And the face in the cupboard, whoever or whatever it belongs to, remains a mystery. Craig Davis from Sydney, Australia, submitted this next video to a paranormal channel. He and his wife had been experiencing strange things in their home for over a decade. But what happened one night while Craig was babysitting his 1-year-old son crossed a line that could not be ignored. Craig was alone with his son, keeping an eye on the baby monitor as the child slept. Baby monitors are supposed to provide peace of mind, a way for parents to ensure their children are safe without having to physically enter the room and risk waking them. They are tools of comfort, of reassurance. But that night, the monitor showed Craig something that shattered his sense of safety. On the right side of the frame, near the bottom of the image, a small hand entered the crib. It was not Craig's hand. It was not his wife's hand. It was the hand of a child reaching into the crib where his 1-year-old son lay sleeping. The hand touched the edge of the crib and then immediately pulled back, retreating out of frame as quickly as it had appeared. The movement was quick, but deliberate, as if whoever the hand belonged to had decided against making further contact. Craig and his wife have only one child, their son. There are no other children in the house. There are no older siblings, no young relatives staying overnight. The hand that appeared on that baby monitor belonged to no living person in the household. Craig believes that the spirit of a young girl haunts their home. He says that over the past 10 years, he and his wife have experienced many strange paranormal events. Objects moving on their own, unexplained sounds in empty rooms, the sensation of being watched when no one else is there. The hand on the baby monitor was simply the most concrete evidence they had ever captured. Some might find comfort in the idea of a spirit child watching over a baby. Perhaps it is a protective presence, a guardian angel of sorts. But others find the footage deeply disturbing. Whatever reached into that crib had physical form, or at least the appearance of physical form. It could interact with the material world. And that raises a terrifying question: what else could it do? Craig continues to live in the house with his family, but he watches the baby monitor more closely now, and he keeps the bedroom door locked at night. Not all terrifying encounters involve the supernatural. Sometimes the most frightening things are completely human. Amber Carter and her friend Tiana were parked at a McDonald's in Melbourne, Australia, enjoying their food and their conversation. It was a normal evening, the kind of mundane moment that happens millions of times a day around the world. Two friends eating fast food in a parking lot. And then something approached the car. Amber first noticed the figure approaching from behind the vehicle, a woman moving toward them with a gait that was wrong somehow, unsettling in a way that was difficult to articulate. As the woman came closer, Amber got a clear look at her face. Her first thought was that she was looking at a zombie. The woman's appearance was deeply disturbing. Her skin was pale and mottled, her expression blank, her movements mechanical and jerky. She looked like something that had crawled out of a horror film, a creature that should not exist in the real world. The woman walked to the passenger door and tried to open it. Once, twice, several times. She pulled on the handle, attempting to gain entry to the vehicle where Amber and Tiana sat frozen in terror. Amber's screams fill the audio of the video she recorded. "Tiana, go! Go! Oh my God!" The panic in her voice is raw and primal. The sound of a person confronted with something that their brain cannot process. Tiana floors the accelerator, and they speed away from the parking lot, leaving the mysterious woman behind. After Amber shared her experience online, locals in the Melbourne area came forward with their own stories. They too had seen this woman. She was known to approach cars at random, trying to open doors. She had been spotted attempting to enter apartments and houses as well, testing locks, searching for a way inside. Who is she? What does she want? Is she mentally ill, homeless, or something else entirely? No one seems to know. But her presence in the Melbourne area has become something of an urban legend, a reminder that sometimes the monsters are not ghosts or demons. Sometimes the monsters are human, and they want to get into your car. In the Philippines, a man named Ayant Otto was disturbed one night by his family dog. The animal was barking and howling at something outside, displaying the kind of agitation that dogs typically reserve for serious threats. An intruder perhaps, or a wild animal encroaching on the property. Ent and his family quickly checked their security camera footage to see what was causing the disturbance. What they found shook them to their core. The footage shows the backyard of their home. It is night, the image rendered in the green-tinged monochrome of infrared recording. At first, nothing seems unusual. The yard is empty, the shadows still. And then a shape appears. It is translucent and white, humanoid in form, but lacking the solid definition of a physical body. It seems to walk back and forth through the backyard, moving with a purposeless wandering that suggests confusion or searching. It appears, disappears, and reappears in different locations, as if it is flickering in and out of existence. The family went outside to check after reviewing the footage. They found nothing. No person, no animal, no explanation for what the camera had captured. The yard was empty and silent. But the dog knew. Throughout the incident, the animal continued to bark and howl, its senses detecting something that human eyes could not see. Dogs have been known to react to paranormal presences, their heightened senses picking up on phenomena that we are oblivious to. Ant believes that his security camera accidentally captured proof of a ghost haunting his family's property. the translucent figure, the dog's reaction, the empty yard when they went to investigate, all of it points to something supernatural. What the ghost wants or why it has chosen to haunt their backyard remains unknown. But the family now watches their security footage with a different kind of attention, wondering what else might be walking through their property when they are not looking. Amusement parks are supposed to be places of joy. The bright lights, the cheerful music, the spinning rides, all of it designed to create happiness, to provide escape from the mundane reality of everyday life. Children laugh, parents smile, and for a few hours, the world feels magical. But sometimes that magic turns dark. In Johor Bahru, Malaysia, a proud mother named Rina, Rosni was recording her son Muis while he enjoyed an amusement ride. The ride spun in circles, carrying the children around and around while their parents watched and waved. It was a moment of pure, innocent fun. But as Rina watched the footage, she noticed something that made her blood run cold. Another boy was seated next to Muis on the ride. He appeared to be about the same age as her son, a child enjoying the same spinning adventure. Rina did not recognize him, but that was not unusual at a public amusement park. Children ride alongside strangers all the time. But when the ride came back around, the other boy was gone. He had not climbed off. He had not moved to a different seat. He had simply vanished, disappearing between one rotation and the next, as if he had never existed at all. When the ride stopped and Muis got off, Rina looked for the other boy. She scanned the crowd, searched the area around the ride, asked the operators if they had seen him. No one had. The D boy was nowhere to be found. She asked her son about his riding companion. "Who is that boy next to you?" Muis looked at her with confusion. He had no idea what she was talking about. As far as he knew, he had been riding alone. Rina reviewed the video again and again. The boy is clearly visible in the footage, seated right beside Muse. He is not a trick of the light, not a reflection, not a compression artifact. He is a child, riding an amusement ride, and then he is not. Who was this phantom child? A ghost of a boy who died at the park years ago? A spirit drawn to the joy of living children? Or something else entirely, something that cannot be explained by any theory we possess? The video provides no answers. It only shows a boy who was there one moment and gone the next, leaving behind nothing but questions and a mother who will never look at amusement parks the same way again. This next video is different from the others. It went viral not because it terrified viewers, but because it enchanted them. Millions of people watched it, shared it, and debated its authenticity, but even those who believed it was fake found themselves charmed by its whimsical nature. The footage allegedly comes from a live stream, captured in real time as viewers watched. A man is exploring a wooded area, and he approaches a tree with a hollow in its trunk. He seems to know something is there, or at least suspects it. "This the spot? This the spot," he says, his voice low and excited. He peers into the hollow, and what happens next is remarkable. A tiny creature peeks out from inside the tree. It is small, perhaps 6 inches tall, with a humanoid form and features that suggest intelligence and awareness. It looks at the man, seems to consider him, and then retreats back into the hollow. "Look, why they be peeking like that?" "Peeking," the man says, his tone a mixture of wonder and amusement. The creature appears to be a fairy. Now, whether this footage is real or an elaborate hoax created with special effects is a matter of intense debate. The video quality is not high enough to definitively prove or disprove its authenticity. The creature could be a puppet, a CGI creation, or an incredibly sophisticated practical effect. But here's the interesting thing. Many viewers do not care whether it is real. In the comments section, thousands of people expressed their joy at watching the video, regardless of its legitimacy. They said they enjoyed the fantasy of it, the idea that somewhere in the world, fairies might exist, peeking out of tree hollows at curious humans. In a world filled with darkness and horror, sometimes people just want to believe in something magical. Whether the fairy is real or not, the video has brought happiness to millions. And perhaps that is a kind of magic in itself. The haunted liquor store. TikTok user VKT never believed in the paranormal. He considered himself a skeptic, a person who required evidence before accepting. Extraordinary claims. Ghosts, spirits, demons. These were stories told to scare children, not realities that a rational adult needed to take seriously. Then he started working at a liquor store in Kentucky. From his very first shift, VKT noticed that something was wrong. The store felt off somehow, charged with an energy that made the hair on his arms stand up. He heard sounds that he could not explain. Footsteps in empty aisles, whispers from rooms that should have been silent, the distinct sensation that he was being watched. One evening, he decided to record what was happening. He grabbed his phone and started filming. So I'm here at work, and I'm 100% sure I'm hearing noises right now, he says on the recording. His voice is nervous, uncertain. Do you hear that? A soft, unexplained voice can be heard on the audio. It is quiet, almost subliminal, but it is definitely there. Someone or something is whispering in the empty store. What is that? I'm freaking out right now because I'm the only one in the store. VKT asked his coworkers about the strange incidents. Their response was not reassuring. They told him flatly that the store was haunted. They had all experienced the same things: doors opening by themselves, bottles falling from shelves for no reason, voices whispering from the back room. But VKT's experiences were just beginning. In subsequent videos, the activity escalated. He recorded banging sounds coming from the back storage room, as if someone was pounding on the door from the inside. When he went to investigate, he found no one there. Then came the most disturbing incident of all. VKT was alone at work when the door of a stand-up cooler swung open by itself. As he looked through the glass of the cooler, he saw something moving in the back room. A dark figure, shifting quickly out of sight. He ran around to the storage room, his heart pounding, his phone still recording. The room was empty. There was no one there. But the cooler door was still open, as if inviting him to look again. VKT continues to work at the liquor store. Whether he has grown used to the hauntings or simply needs the paycheck, he remains there documenting the strange occurrences and sharing them with the world. And the spirits, whatever they are, seem to have no intention of leaving. Our final case takes us to Saudi Arabia, where a popular explorer known as Jim investigates abandoned and allegedly haunted locations. His videos have earned him a massive following, as viewers tune in to watch him venture into places that most people would never dare to enter. This time, Jim is exploring a long-abandoned apartment complex. The building is decrepit, its walls crumbling, its windows shattered. Nature is slowly reclaiming the structure, vines creeping through the corridors, dust settling on every surface. It is a place that time has forgotten. But as Jim explores, he finds evidence that someone once lived here. In one of the abandoned rooms, old black and white photographs of a young girl have been tacked to the wall. The photos are faded and yellowed, clearly decades old, but the girl's face is still visible. She looks directly at the camera, her expression unreadable. Nearby, Jim finds a drawing of Scooby-Doo, the popular children's cartoon character. It is a strange juxtaposition, a childish drawing in a building that has been abandoned for years, perhaps decades. And then Jim starts to hear sounds. Footsteps echo through the empty corridors. Scraping noises come from rooms he has not yet explored. The sounds are close, too close, as if someone is following him, matching his movements through the building. Jim calls out, "Hello? Anyone here?" His voice echoes through the abandoned structure, but no one answers. He continues exploring, his camera capturing the decay and desolation of the building. He finds a small courtyard, clothes still hanging on a line despite years of exposure to the elements. It is a haunting image, a snapshot of a life that ended abruptly. And then he sees it. Peeking out from behind the hanging clothes is a face. It is the face of a child, pale and gaunt, with eyes that are completely black. Not dark brown, not shadowed by low light, but pitch black, like holes punched into the fabric of reality. Jim jumps back, a cry of terror escaping his lips. He stumbles, nearly falls, his camera shaking wildly. When he regains his composure and looks again, the face is gone. Could this be the ghost of the little girl from the photographs? Has she remained in this building all these years, watching over the ruins of her former home? Or is this something else entirely, a darker entity that has taken the form of a child to lure the curious deeper into the building? Jim did not stay to find out. He fled the apartment complex, his footage ending abruptly as he ran for the exit. Whatever he saw in that courtyard, he did not want to encounter it again. The video has sparked intense debate. Some believe it is genuine evidence of a haunting. Others suspect it is an elaborate hoax, a staged production designed to generate views and followers. Jim himself has not provided a definitive answer, leaving the question open for his audience to decide. But the image of that pale face with the black eyes is difficult to forget. Real or fake, it has embedded itself in the minds of everyone who watched the video. And late at night, when the lights are off and the house is silent, many of those viewers find themselves wondering, what if it was real? What if there really are things hiding in the abandoned places of the world, waiting to be found? We have traveled the world tonight, from Australia to Saudi Arabia, from Malaysia to the Philippines, from Oklahoma to Kentucky. We have seen children speak to invisible friends, hands reach into cribs, and faces appear in thermal cameras. We have watched ghosts walk through backyards, spirits haunt liquor stores, and entities peek out from behind hanging laundry. Some of these videos have rational explanations, others seem to defy all logic. But all of them share one common thread. They were captured by ordinary people who were not looking for the paranormal. They were simply living their lives when the unexplained intruded. Perhaps that is the most unsettling aspect of these videos. The witnesses did not seek out haunted locations or perform rituals to summon spirits. The paranormal came to them uninvited, inserting itself into their daily routines. It appeared in their homes, their workplaces, their cars, their children's bedrooms. If it can happen to them, it can happen to anyone. The next time you check your baby monitor, look closely at the edges of the frame. The next time you review your security camera footage, pay attention to the shadows. The next time your dog barks at nothing, consider that it might be barking at something you simply cannot see. We share this world with things we do not understand. These videos are proof of that. And every day, more footage is being captured, more evidence is being recorded, more questions are being raised. The truth is out there, hiding in the pixels, waiting to be seen. If you made it to the end of this video, you are a true explorer of the unknown. Hit that like button to support the channel. Subscribe if you have not already, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Leave a comment below telling us which case disturbed you the most. Was it the friend in the closet, the face in the abandoned building, the hand in the crib? We read every comment and we want to hear your theories. Until next time, lock your doors, check your cameras, and remember, just because you cannot see something does not mean it is not there.